Comrade Marat, take you at the podium to welcome the acting chairman.
Thank you very much, Comrade Solomon. Comrade Right Honorable and Acting Chairman Nathaniel Oyet, please allow me to welcome our audience and on behalf of our memberships, SPLM-IO, worldwide, diaspora, and also at home. We do appreciate your courage of taking up the position of acting chair after the restricted house arrest to our chairman and multiple violations to the agreements. You have taken a position that is commendable, and the entire membership of SPLM-IO are thankful for your courage to take up this difficult task. Today mark your second time to appear here in Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a very influential social media platform, and we have been engaged as SPLM-IO members in discussing issues that are related to peace and stability in our country. For the last 6 years, we have been defending the peace agreements and its implementation. Recently, we have seen the government has issued a house arrest and has issued charges against our chairmen and 7 others of our comrades and leaderships who are in detention. And obviously, your appearance today, and we have seen you in other media outlets speaking about these charges, and your appearance today would bring great information to our membership and to the citizens of South Sudan. We commend your times, and we appreciate your availability. Without further ado, I would want to welcome you to address the South Sudanese as well as the membership of SPLM-IO. Comrade Acting Chairman, you are welcome to take the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, comrades. We are meeting today again on the 14th of September 2025. Our meeting today is on a national address that I intend to deliver to all of you, to all the members and supporters of the SPLM-IO, to the political wing to the military wing, all our gallant members and forces. Next, to the members of the international community, for the downtrodden civilian citizens around our country, fear of being attacked by flood, and there is no government that is there to save them. Those who are being bombed by chemical weapons, thrive. Yes. I meet you today and greet you today in the name of our mighty party, the SPLM-IO. My address is in light and suspension the Republic of South Sudan. Indictment and other political detainees. The pronouncement by the Ministry of Justice, who spoke on behalf of the regime in Juba. From the onset, I want to highlight to you how we reach here, how we reach the state of indictment, of arrest and detention of our members. The conflict in South Sudan is now over 10 years. The conflict of South Sudan, which started in 2013, is now a long-running conflict in Africa. We are tempted to use peace agreement, to use political solution to resolve our differences in the country. But the regime that has always abrogated agreements, that has always undermined the efforts of religious leaders, civil society, the regional community, African Union, has today brought us to shame, has today destroyed another agreement, the RRCs. There is nowhere in the world that
Comrade Chairman, your voice is cutting. I believe it's your network. Can you change your position? Maybe it's going to be better than this.
can arrest and detain peacemakers, can undermine the efforts of those who want to bring peace in the country. There is nowhere in the world except in the Republic of South Sudan. President Salva Kiir has blackmailed the whole country, has destroyed peace, peace dignitary like Dr. RIEK MACHAR. Some people will lose privileges of their citizenship. They will lose peace dividends. The people of South Sudan will lose the dividends of independence. They will lose their basic human rights and fundamental freedom. The country is descending into dictatorship. The country is being dragged down the path of abyss and disintegration. Salva Kiir Mayardit and unite our people. Unable to reconcile the 64 tribes and nationalities of the Republic of South Sudan. Today is humiliating his compatriots. The father of self-determination, a politician of all time, Dr. RIEK MACHAR, who stood for self-determination, who stood for the rights of South Sudanese, who stood for human rights and democracy, who held the files of comprehensive peace agreement, who held the file resolution of the conflict in Abyei, who had held the file of Southern Kordofan and Nuba Mountain. Salva Kiir today is humiliating him, arresting him, detaining him, and taking him to try for trials in a political court, a court which has not been reformed, a court where the Judicial Reform Committee has produced a report which has been put aside by President Salva Kiir. That report has not been implemented to affect the judiciary of the Republic of South Sudan. The judiciary of the Republic of South Sudan is not independent judiciary. It is under the whims of the SPLM party, IG party. Is under the whims of Salva Kiir Mayardit. Is under the whims of Bolmel. In the judiciary, they can change it at will. In the judiciary, they can dismiss them. They pay them poorly. They are compromised. Chief Justice putting on SPLM capped and red color uniform. That court has no competence to try any South Sudanese, leave alone Dr. RIEK MACHAR, because it is not independent. The court has always produced verdicts, pronounced verdicts, which has been undermined by the members of the military, by the members of the organized forces. Court cases regarding land, regarding political issues. In 2013, Isaiah Abram was assassinated in his house. That case has never been brought to court. Even when the civil society, even when the international community wanted the case to be brought to court. Why? Because it was going to indict the government. People like Makwach, a young lawyer who finished from MACHAR University, also was killed by a so-called unknown gunman. Many people in Juba and in South Sudan have died in the hands of unknown gunmen, in the hands of officers in the military, in the hands of officers and soldiers. The court is not functional. Judiciary is not functional in the Republic of South Sudan. We don't recognize this court. We don't deal with it. Leave alone the case of indictment against Dr. RIEK MACHAR, which is unfounded, which is politically motivated. The judiciary of South Sudan has not been reformed. We are supposed to have, by the terms of the RRCs, a constitutional court such that if there was any dispute over law, application of laws, it will be interpreted in the constitutional court, whose members will be appointed by consultation and through a fair process. But today the constitutional court does not exist. The judiciary, to have a panel within the Supreme Court, the president, they are not vetted by the Judicial Service Commission. We don't expect any fairness in that court, leave alone the unfounded political charges brought against our members. We don't recognize this court. We don't recognize and will not have anything to do with its verdict. Its verdict will be ineffective. It will not apply to any of our members. Much as we know, the regime will continue to hold them against their will and against the appeal by IGAD, against the appeal by African Union, and against the appeal by the members of international community, including the UN Security Council. We South Sudanese, now we are left with only one option, the option to defend ourselves, the option to restore justice, to restore peace and stability in our country. We are left with only one option, to defend our human rights. To defend our freedom. Now brings the agreement to a stop. Now brings the RRCs to collapse. Salva Kiir Mayardit has now effectively abrogated the agreement, an agreement that we once thought it will bring reforms in the country. We once thought it will bring peace and stability in the country. The claims that they are making in the media, that it is IO, that is anti-peace, it is a bogus and baseless claim. Because the person who arrested our members first and arrested a signatory to the peace agreement is nothing other than President Salva Kiir issuing a statement to arrest the first vice president, who is also a signatory to the peace agreement. The person who attacked our cantonments that was hosting our military personnel, the person who attacked our training centers is nothing other than the regime forces, the SSPDF. The person who has been violating the agreement since 2018 is nothing other than President Salva Kiir Mayardit. The person who has been dragging his feet in the implementation of the agreement, so that an agreement which should have been implemented in 3 years has gone implementation of its base, who has abrogated the agreement is none other than President Salva Kiir. The arrest, detention, and now the impending trial of the chairman goes contrary to the terms and provisions of the RRCs. The government is supposed to be the government of national unity, not the government of Salva Kiir. Not the government of Salva Kiir and parties that are co-opted, like FDs, like SOA, like OPP, parties that cannot stop the excesses of the president, parties that cannot the excesses of the agreement, the parties that are just concerned about jobs and position in the government, the parties that are insensitive to the situation of the country, to the suffering of the people of South Sudan, the parties that are quiet in light of all the violations that have been going on, the parties that are co-opted and are now working with Salva Kiir to destroy the country. The suspension of the first vice president from the government of national unity is the climax of all violations. The agreement is effectively now violated. The government that was formed pursuant to RRCs has now collapsed. We have lost almost all the positions, including the position of the first vice president. The government has now nothing to do with the implementation of the peace agreement, has now nothing to do with the provision of the revitalized peace agreement. Its life and its legitimacy has effectively ended. The current regime in Juba reflects the RRC. A setup of dictatorship is now a setup of a state capture, a setup of family business that is bent to hold power illegally and by violence, a setup of those who want to pull the country, to pull the Republic of South Sudan away from international system, those who want South Sudan to be isolated so that we can live in a period of Stone Age, in a period of a state of nature, in a period where the strong will kill the weak. We will reject this. We reject this attempt to pull the country away from international system. The country, recognized by the UN, must conform to the international system, to human rights, to the declaration of economic rights, to the declaration of self-determination, to the declaration of African human rights, to the declaration of International Bill of Rights and African Bill of Rights. We reject attempt by the regime to pull the country to isolation. IO will continue to resist the regime in order to usher in the Republic of South Sudan a new political dispensation of democracy, of rule of law, of human rights respect, of respect for fundamental freedom, of development, of our vision, the vision of our founding fathers. The regime, IO, rejects all the charges against the members that are now under detention, that are being persecuted. These charges are violations of the RRCs, and they are politically motivated. These charges reflect denials of political space in the Republic of South Sudan. Anything that is happening to our chairman, to the first vice president, Dr. RIEK MACHAR, can happen to any individual in the Republic of South Sudan. Can 64 nationalities who is being targeted, who is being persecuted, exile. Now, there are many politicians and academia who are in exile. those of Dr. Luka Biong, who was expelled from South Sudan, civil society members who ran away from the country, people like Peter Biar, who are exiled from the country by the regime. Lack of freedom of conscience, even in the universities. There is no student societies. They are all banned by the regime. There is no freedom to write articles without being followed by the regime, without being arrested by the regime. Fought for. This is not the country, and attain its independence with the hope that we shall be free and govern our country according to democratic principles. The SPLM does not recognize and will never recognize the court process and shall not take part in the politically motivated trials of its members in Juba. The SPLM-IO, however, welcomes on the account of abuse of powers by the SPLM-IG the ongoing efforts by professionals, legal professionals, and activists in governance, activists in law, academia, in universities, and those who are friends of South Sudan for freedom. That is being mounted by the activists and the citizens and the supporters around the country against the illegal arrest and detention, illegal trials of the first vice president and other political detainees. The legal defense or representation in the illegal political court of the SPLM-IG shall proceed based on individual human rights and freedom of the members who are being accused, who are being illegally accused and persecuted. We would like to reiterate that the political detainees, His Excellency Dr. RIEK MACHAR and all others who are being illegally detained must be released unconditionally and immediately. Failure to do so by the regime, the SPLM-IO shall use all means at its disposal to release the political detainees, not only members of the SPLM-IO, but anybody who is being detained illegally. I'm calling upon academia, civil society supporters, and members of the party in the political wing, in the military wing, to resist the attempt by the regime to drag our country to abyss, to drag our country to total war, to drag our country to shame. Comrades, I'm appealing to all of you to stand firm in the face of these challenges. We shall overcome. We shall move. We shall stand tall. We will free ourselves from dictatorship. The process going on in Juba is illegal, and we don't accept it. I'm calling upon you to reach out to anybody in the country, to reach out to anybody in the region and beyond, to stand with South Sudanese people in this trying moment. The country has very bleak future. The future now is unknown because the regime in Juba is determined to wage a senseless war, to target innocent civilians and population, to deny humanitarian access to the citizens, to commit atrocities, war crimes, all these mayhems, all this destruction of the country. I thank you very much for your audience. I'm very glad for your audience and attention. Thank you so much. Any question? I'm ready to pick. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Acting Chairman, for